am, it is probably 11 o'clock at night here in Chicago, and I'm here to let y'all know that I just quit my full-time job. I am no longer with the marketing agency that I'm currently at after 4 years. So I'm here in downtown Chicago. I just got out of the gym. You know, it's 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock at night, and I literally had nothing else to do, so I figured, you know what, might as well get out, you know, vlog and let people know what I'm currently doing. And so yeah, I mean, it's been 5 days right now since I quit my agency, but yep, I'm just here letting y'all know that I quit my full-time financial analyst job to study for a CPA exam, and I'll let you all know on this journey. But for right now, let's enjoy this beautiful, beautiful night here in downtown Chicago, and it's a Tuesday night, so yeah, I'll show you guys around. Okay, yeah, I do live in a beautiful city, and it's really great right now. Beautiful weather. Just thinking about a lot of stuff right now. Oops, hold on. Hold on. Sorry, y'all. I was listening to a really cool podcast and I was getting distracted. So yeah, have my cup of coffee. Not really studying right now, like, because I really don't feel like studying. After you leave a job for like 4 years, you know, you just kind of feel very like, I don't know, you have a lot of things that you're thinking about, like, what am I gonna do next? Are they okay? Am I okay? You know, self-care is very important when you leave a job. So I'm just here, you know, in downtown Chicago, big city, just left the gym. First week of not having a full-time job. But at least it's nice out. It's really pretty. Here you go. I'll show you all. So pretty. This Starbucks means a lot to me because this was actually the Starbucks I used to work in. This was when I was in school studying, you know, in my community college. I didn't even know that I was gonna major in accounting. And I remember that in that table right there, I remember there was this really cool co-worker of mine who was really good at math, and he helped me study my pre-calculus and calculus homework, and he would give me free tutoring sessions. So I'm so grateful for him. He was really cool. He was really smart too, and he worked here, and he went to an Ivy League school. That was like this block right here. I just remember just coming in every single week, you know, right after school, you know, and I just remembered it was a really cool part of my life. Difficult. Never thought that I would be a financial analyst and study for a CPA exam, but it was really okay. And then that right there, let me see if I can zoom in. That building right there is one of my favorite buildings here in Chicago. See if I can adjust it. Like, ain't it pretty? Like, it has like a pretty crown. It almost reminds me of like a castle. And of course, the beautiful Sears Tower. And if you're not from Chicago, then you probably not understand why it's called the Sears Tower, not the Willis Tower. I will always call it the Sears Tower, never the Willis Tower, although that's like the proper name of it. Yeah, it's a nice day here in Chicago. Figured I might as well vlog since I don't have a job, you know. I would say, and it's so empty here too, oh my god. Yeah, I would say I did reschedule my auditing test earlier. Instead of taking it September 9th, it's August 23, I believe. More to come on that, but I just figured I just want to give myself a week to just debrief, think about. I'm gonna start journaling. I'm gonna start thinking about a lot of things before I hit it full time for the CPA exam. Oh my god. I'm not gonna lie, I live in one of the coolest cities in the world. I believe this is the financial district here, so there's a lot of banks. Never know, one day maybe I'll have my own office. I mean, 2019 has just been probably one of the most like craziest years that I've ever experienced, and I wouldn't even say in my finance career, but I would say just in general, it just was so intense. So the reason why you clicked on this video is because the title is called I quit my job to go full-time on the CPA exam. Trust me when I tell you that I did not even anticipate this. I just found out from my current employer that tomorrow is actually my last day after 4 years of working at this marketing agency in the Midwest. And it's crazy because, you know, signs were there that it was just time for me to go. And I don't mean this in like, oh my god, like, you know, feel bad for me, or oh, I hate this person. You know, I would say one thing that I've realized studying for a CPA exam, specifically financial accounting and reporting, is that, you know, I think people, especially like your managers, have like the best interest in you. It's like they want you to succeed. They want you to, you know, fulfill your dreams or goals or for whatever you want to do. But unfortunately, like, you know, if you work for a big, you know, corporate company, they can't allow that, you know. And so, I mean, the reason why tomorrow's my last day is because I told my employer that I wanted to be part-time, and unfortunately it didn't happen. And I also told them that if I didn't become part-time, then I just figured I might as well go full-time on a CPA exam. And then they were like, great, tomorrow's your last day. And I was like, great, let me start studying for audit. Okay. It's weird because, like I said before, this was not something that I did not even want to do. And I'm gonna go back to the very beginning because this is kind of like a story time now, and I guess how I ended up getting to this version and how tomorrow I'm going for my exit interview. So I will say that 2019 was just a very traumatic year. I mean, I remember getting my, well, in 2018 I got my review course from Roger CPA, and I got the Thanksgiving special, so I got the discount, and I started studying like really officially like January. I would say that's when I was kind of like really official. And, you know, that was like my first time trying to, you know, balance a job while studying full time, you know, and I was doing it kind of good. And I think I've heard it from people that, like, you know, the first like 4 to 5 weeks are the most hardest. And I 100% agree that the first 4 to 5 weeks of like studying for a CPA exam is like probably one of like the hardest things that you have to do as far as CPA exam, because especially if you're someone like me, who waited you know, 4 years after graduating from university, you know, like it takes time, you know, you haven't had that much experience as far as like sitting down and like actually like sitting down and like thinking about, okay, like what is my study strategy, how am I gonna study, what's best effective. And that's what makes the CPA exam very, you know, for some people stressful, for some people difficult, for some people easy. Everyone's different, but for me, it was stressful trying to balance full-time, you know, work and studying full-time for a CPA exam. And I just remember like my days were from like 8 a.m. to like 1 o'clock, you know, a.m. in the morning, and then like vice versa. So it just was, and I was doing it for about 2 to 3 months, and I finally was kind of getting the angst of it. So like in March, my grandma passed away, and I just remember that like that just like hit me whole. Like that was something that I was like, oh my god. Like I remember I found out my grandma passed away on a Sunday, and I just told my mom, okay, like we're going to Mexico, like that's something that we're gonna have to do. And I told her, I'm going, if you want to come with me we can. And she decided that we both were going, so we both ended up going to Mexico. And at that time I was working, so I had to tell my manager like literally that night, I'm like, I'm flying to Mexico, like I'm gonna be gone for a full week. You know, my parents are from the southern part of Mexico, so when you travel there it just takes forever. And so I just remembered like studying all the way from the airport, studying all the way from the like airport to like all the way in Mexico. And I just remember like we were like such in a hurry to like be in the burial. Like I remember like we were just such in a hurry to just we were such in a hurry to just really like, you know, get to the ceremony. And I remember when we got there, like it was the most beautiful, like beautiful ceremony. Oh my god, it was like it was like over like 90 people came, and it was like a wonderful ceremony. And I was like, wow, I can't believe that, like, you know, my grandma meant so much to like so many people. And I just remember like studying for a CPA exam went like out the door, and I remember I was just crying, and like everyone was crying, everyone was sad. I got to see my parents, they're very sad. It's really hard when you see your parents emotional, because you always think of your parents as very like strong people. So when you see your parents very vulnerable, like I started becoming very vulnerable too. And I just remember that it was just such like it was such a hard time. And I was there in Mexico for a full week, and I tried to study for the CPA exam. Like I had my textbook, I had my FAR exam literally on the funeral ceremony, like in my backpack. And I just remember like my backpack being heavy, you know, I had the honor of carrying, you know, my grandmother in the casket while we're in my backpack. And I just remembered like I just didn't care about anything. I didn't care about my job, I didn't care about, you know, my life in, you know, in the States. I didn't care about anything. I just was like, I was so focused on just my grandmother passing, and you know what she meant for a lot of people. And I just remember coming back from that trip, and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like I don't want to work, like I don't want to study for a CPA exam. Like I just like, I'm a zombie. I think like I literally was like, you know what, I think probably the CPA exam is not for me, or it's not for me for a while. And I remember I came back, I think my exam date was supposed to be June 1st, I believe. And I just realized, I was like, you know what, I took the whole month of March, April, like it just was like, ugh. And I remember like one of my coworkers told me such a great advice: take time off. Like you need to grieve, you need to heal, and then you can do whatever you want. And I think that was such a great advice, and shout out to my coworker who said that, because that actually was one of the best advice I've heard. Because I never dealt with like a family loss, let alone like working full-time, and let alone like trying to study. So I just remember I was like, you know what, like I'm just gonna, you know, I continued working out, continued to do what I was supposed to be doing. And then I realized, I remember in April. So now we're coming from like January, February, you know, March. So like January, I started studying for a CPA exam. I had to reschedule it up until later, and then March came, and then, you know, my grandma passed away, and so then I didn't really feel like doing anything. So then now, you know, it's April now, and I remember I went to this cool ass concert. I saw this artist called A.CHAL. Shout out to A.CHAL. If you see this video, hey, what's up? This like Peruvian artist who does like reggaeton, R&B, like futuristic, like R&B alien music. Like if I was a musician, like oh my god, like he would be the musician that I want to be. Like he was so cool, by the way. Like his show, I'll put videos of like his show. But my god, he was just like so cool and like so like, I don't know, I just like that just gave me so much excitement. I was like, wow, like this guy, you know, like it's just putting so much energy and life, and he like touched my hand, and he just was like giving this very cool concert, very futuristic, like very like neon, you know, Latinx vibes, you know, alien, R&B, futuristic, like so cool. Like check him out, you know. Again, he probably doesn't know who I am, but like great concert. And even the opening acts were really good too. Yeah, it was just a really great night. And it was on 420, I'll never forget. It was on 420. And I just remember I was like, oh my god, I got an excitement about life now, like, you know. And this is what I was such in a rut, you know, when my grandpa passed away, that I was like, you know what, I remember like that night I went to my email and I said, all right, you know what, when does my notices schedule expire for financial accounting and reporting? And I saw that it was July 1st, and I said, you know what, that's the last day that I can take the CPA exam, and I'm just gonna go ahead and go full force with the CPA exam. So I requested my time. And again, this video is gonna be a little bit long, so if you like kind of like want to like, maybe you have like something where I could like jump stamp things. The reason why I'm like kind of going in a tangent here is because I just want to tell you how real this is. This is not, I'm not here some like, you know, this, you know, sponsored person, which I'm not sponsored or anything. I'm just literally telling you my experience. And the reason I'm telling you is because if anyone is going through something very similar, like please comment below, or just let me know if you know someone that's going very similar. But like, I just remember like, okay, so going back to the concert, like I had such a great concert, it was a great time. I checked my email, my notice schedule expired on July 1st, and I remember like, I think like within a week I told my manager, I said, you know what, I want to I want to take the CPA exam on July 1st, and I'm taking the full week before the exam off. And I just remember after like 420, I started studying, you know, getting back to my groove. And then May 1st came, and then that was my birthday, and then the last time I'm gonna have alcohol. And then after that, like no more partying, like no more going out, no more feeling in this rut. You know, I already grieved the loss of my grandmother, and then now I told myself this exam now means more to me. It's more than just me becoming a CPA. Now it's like I feel like I'm leaving a legacy. You know, it sounds crazy, but like that's how I'm kind of viewing it now. And I remember when I started studying for like the CPA exam, when I took the full week off, one of the biggest lessons that I learned is self-discipline. I told myself like self-discipline is one of the most important key elements in taking the CPA exam. I think I've been hearing a lot like study strategies. I've been hearing a lot about you should do this, take this exam first, take this exam second. And yeah, they're probably important, but I don't see anyone talking about self-discipline. Like self-discipline is something that you like need when you're studying for the CPA exam. Like there was a lot of times where I was during the beginning of this journey that I was like, oh, I just, you know, do this tomorrow, you know, or I'm early, so might as well just do this tomorrow. Or I'm doing this, might as well just do this tomorrow. Like I'm doing this, like might as well do this tomorrow. And I just was like, you know what? Like no, like I just can't happen again. And that's kind of the situation where I was in, and I was like, you know what? Like I had to take full responsibility of all my actions. Even though if things were out of my control, I was like, I'm gonna take full responsibilities of all my actions moving forward. So I just remembered like getting in such a group, and I remembered like on like my Saturday, I think like the Saturday before, so it was like a Saturday because you know July 1st was on a Monday. So I think the Saturday or the Friday or Saturday, I don't even know, like I studied for like, I had to be like 18 hours, like 16 or 18 hours. Obviously it was breaks in between, but I remember it was just like the final blow. And I just remember I was going on, and I realized, I was like, oh my God, like who am I? Like I could do this, like I could do this. Here I am going from the beginning of the year, you know, not feeling motivated, like not like really knowing what I'm doing. Like, oh my God, this is too much material. If you have, you know, far, like the textbook is like this thick. I don't have my textbook with me. And I figured out like a good study strategy. And I'm gonna share study strategies that's been helping me study for a CPA exam. But yeah, and I just remembered like finally like finding like, how do I say this, like finally finding like a groove. And I remember I took the CPA exam on a Monday and I had to go back on a Tuesday. And I just remember like I didn't really want to go back to work. Like I knew for a fact that I was like, you know what, like I just like, it just sucks because like you were so focused on that. And then I think that's where the seed came in, where I just figured, you know what, I kind of want to go full time with this. But at that point I didn't take any action of it. I just was like, whatever, I'm going back to work. And then it's funny like how I said in my last video, the first one I uploaded, was like, you know, things kind of push you in a certain direction. And I would say if things are pushing you to the CPA exam, like it's because it's telling you for a reason. So I just came to a conclusion that I said, you know what, like I want to take the CPA exam very seriously now, because I realized that this exam will open up so many opportunities in the future that, you know, that I could probably ever imagine, I would say. And I will also say that, so going back to that, like I asked my manager if I could be part-time about a week ago, and they told me no, and I just said, okay, well then I resign because I kind of want to do this full-time. And that's where I am today. So as of tomorrow, I have my exit interview for my current employer. You know what though, like in here, hold on, I actually have a book. It's funny because I actually read this book in this morning and I kind of want to share it with you guys. Okay, so I'm reading this book called Think and Grow Rich. I'll put it right here. I don't know if y'all can see it. And this book, I bought this book, like, I bought a lot of books this year, but this is the book that everyone has been telling me, like, you have to read it, you have to read it. Like, even if you don't even want to be, like, quote unquote rich, you know, I like this book because this book talks about that richness is not defined by money. And actually, I think it's on the first chapter. Oh, right here. Okay. So in the book, it says richness cannot always be measured in money. Money and material things are essential for freedom of body and mind, but there are some who will feel that the greatest of all riches can be evaluated in terms of lasting friendships, harmonious family relationships, sympathy and understanding between business associates, and introspective harmony, which brings one peace of mind measurable only in spiritual values. Whoa, that's powerful. But it just basically says that, you know, richness is not always money. Like, it's like your goals, it's your dreams, it's your aspirations. It's like, you know, you seeing better for yourself. And there's this other part of the story that kind of goes to what I'm currently going through right now. And I kid you not, I literally read this morning, and then I found out today that tomorrow will be my last day at my job of 4 years. And it says, the morning after the Great Chicago Fire, a group of merchants stood on State Street, looking at the smoking remains of what had been their stores. They went into a conference to decide if they would try to rebuild or leave Chicago and start over in a more promising section of the country. They reached a decision, all except one to leave Chicago. The merchant who decided to stay and rebuild pointed a finger at the remains of his store and said, "Gentlemen, on that very spot I will build the world's greatest store, no matter how many times it may burn down." That was more than 50 years ago. The store was built. It stands there today, a towering monument to the power of the state of mind known as a burning desire. And that man was Marshall Fields. But like, I remember growing up when I was little, like my parents would take me to like Marshall Fields, or at least by the area of the store. And Fields, or Marshall Fields, was like the it store back in the day. And like, look, I didn't even know that. Like, I didn't even know that like Marshall Fields, the man who started this, you know, department store, he literally was the one that started the reason why we have a Walmart and Target, a department store. And at that time, that was kind of like the Amazon of back in the day. But the fact that like one person believed that they can, you know, do something as big as create a department store, even though their remains was burned. And I don't know, like, I mean, I'll put some pictures of how the Great Chicago Fire was, but I was like, wow, like, that takes so much courage and desire. And I literally read that this morning. I'm not even kidding you. I literally was at a McDonald's. I went to the gym and I literally read that this morning and I almost cried. No, I was crying because I was like, wow, this man believed in himself. This man really thought that of everything that was going wrong, and everyone left, right? He didn't follow the herd. He did what was felt right. And that's why for me, quitting my job to study full-time for a CPA exam, like, I just feel that this was something that I needed to do. Like, I don't feel at all one regret quitting my job for the CPA exam, because I know, just like in the book of Marshall Fields, I know that this will be something that will lead to something greater. Okay? And you can hold me accountable to that. And so to everyone out there who is taking the CPA exam, whether you're a working professional, whether you are a full-time student, I am with you on this. But we are in this together, and you're not alone. So thank you so much for clicking on this video, and please like and comment and share and subscribe to my channel so you can get weekly updates on how my CPA exam journey is going. Okay? Talk to you later. Bye.